Hi guys, so today I have a video for you sponsored by Tonic Studios. It is the launch of their new showcase. It's the Shutter Card die set. So they did send this item free of charge for my review, and of course all opinions are my own. Any links I have in the description box would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. So this showcase comes in a nice packaging. The big, I don't know what size this pocket is, but it's the larger pocket. As you can see, it's a good size, if you can tell by the grid here. And then mounted on this magnetic sheet. So just checking it out already, clearly it's made to make your card base for a shutter card, all kinds of inlays, and just, there's just so much to do with this. If you're familiar with shutter cards, you're going to have like a gatefold card that then pulls open the little shutter in the middle. So this looks like there's plenty of ways to use it. It looks like there's a belly band possibly, or maybe, yeah, or something that goes around the edges. It looks like a belly band. Yeah, because it overlaps, so very, very nice. And then there's a lot of dies to go in along with that. So let me measure the shutter card base so that you have an idea of how large that die is. And I'll use this ruler since I don't know where my silver ruler is. This was just harder to see through since it's acrylic, it's very clear. And I'd say it's like 8 1/4. The die itself, though, is probably what you want to know for now. Almost 8.5 inches long here, and about 5 3/4, 5 5/8 deep. Okay, so you want to know that for your die cutting machine, and then everything else kind of nests in there or fits it within that. So hopefully that info helps you. So as I look at it again, we have that base card die. We have this one here that has like little dots that'll cut into that, around the area if you would like, or like this one cuts out a plain line. Then you have the inlays that you can use just to decorate the panels that you create with that gatefold. So this one looks more like vines and things. This one's a very kind of lacy floral pattern. We'll go on to the next panel. So this panel is what goes inside and holds down the shutter pieces. And so we have the portion that we can use. Again, inlay, if you want to make different, do like a topper piece on that, or just inlay, however you want to work with that. The inlay has 2 different pieces. So hopefully you can see this die is broken. It's not one die. So this one coordinates with this panel, and this one coordinates with this panel. So if you want to use that, you just pop it in there, run it through, and then the next time just run it through by itself on the other side to get that same pattern on the top and bottom. There's a circle here because of course you're going to have to cut out a portion so that you can see the shutter moving and then see the message or whatever you want to reveal under there. So this one leaves like little dots around the edge, and then it cuts out that center. And then we have with love, again, different ways to use these with the inlay. Then we have this piece here that I think goes on this one too. So we have, again, that little dotted border or just a plain border, and then lots of inlays for this belly band. We have the words, I think it says "just for you," and then with the shadow, "thank you," also with the shadow. Again, another little aperture kind of here. This one has like a scalloped edge, and it says "just for you." I miss you, you make me smile, I love you, and then with the diamond that you can cut it out. So these are impression dies, so that little impression will be on your paper, and I think that's lovely. I love their impression dies. And then there's like little floral sprigs and stuff, like this one here, and these guys. Alright, so what I'm going to do is grab some paper, and I didn't even talk about the apertures themselves. So here's this guy. So if you want to have an aperture that kind of interlocks as the other piece comes in, and this one just kind of meets in the center, so you have 2 of the same. So this one kind of has a diagonal, meets in the center, and this guy kind of goes into each other. Hopefully that makes sense. So we have 2 different ways of making your little piece there. Alright, let me grab some papers and we'll get started. Okay guys, sorry I had to come back because what I had said about the little flowers and things, I was like, that leads me to believe there's a stamp set. So I went and looked through my things. There is a stamp set that goes along with this showcase, because I was like, well, maybe you can make the little, little sprigs, but then the flowers, you definitely need a stamp for that. So here they are. And so of course I get samples, and you might see that there's a little something missing here. I don't know if there's supposed to be something there, but I do not have it. So hopefully maybe it just slid down, you know, I don't know. But there is. So we have the words "just for you," lots of love and kisses, well done, thank you so much, congrats, I mean lots of sentiments, let's celebrate you. We have these guys that you can then, you know, stamp on the inside, however you want to play with these different little circular panels, I guess. The little diamond shapes, love you, and then of course those sprigs, and then the little flowers like we looked at. So, okay, much better. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so for the base of my card, I have these beautiful colors from the new Harvest Moon color trend, and they look so pretty together. So this is coffee cream pearlescent card, and it's double-sided, so I want to use this for my card base. And then we have Baroque Rose, and I think I'm just going to use these two colors, to be honest. So they play off each other really nicely. I love the pinky tone of that with that coffee cream, which is like my favorite color now. I really love it. So we'll talk about the card base, and then we'll do this part a little bit separately. Let me move these out of the way so it doesn't, makes the camera kind of do some fun things. We'll talk about this one in a second, because we are going to layer this up. We do need the aperture, you know, the circle, to be in the same spot for the topper and this part. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But for this one, I'm just going to cut this with my card base. Sorry, so I'm going to take that, I'm going to cut it out a piece of this coffee cream in this direction. Cut that out. And then for these panels, so for me, I'm going to decorate the panels on the outside once we have our gatefold card, so this will be the outside part of it. The inner portion, that's why I use a double-sided card, because I think I'm going to leave that alone, other than the piece in the center that makes the shutter card, you know, hold down in the center. So for these guys, I'm just going to take the panels, and I think we'll go with this one for today's project, since we're just doing the two. I want it to look like lace. Ooh, sorry. So I'm going to cut two of these. This is for the outside. So again, two of these pieces taped down so your dies do not move. You don't want those dies overlapping each other, because that causes problems. You want to keep them separate. So definitely tape them down. So I will cut two panels for the outside. Actually, I'll tape that down a little better. And we'll do the belly band separately. For now, I just want to get the base of the card cut out, and then, like I said, we'll talk about this shutter part. And then, you know, what color paper do you want to go into your shutters? That's up, you know, however you want to design that. I think I'll use that also with the coffee cream. And I just want to see about how much, if I can get it from this piece. Yeah. Okay. So, I think I'll use this one. I'll probably cut this one too, just to show you what that looks like. But for today's project, I will be using this one. So I need two of those. And I'll cut two of these also, just so that you can see what that looks like, okay? And I'll be right back. Okay, so I have these pieces cut so far. And, you know, whenever you use a die, there's always a nice side where the die cuts into it. And then there's a side that's a little bit rough. It's just a rough cut. It doesn't look as smooth as this rounded beveled edge it kind of gives. So I'm going to use that for the outside of my card. I happen to know this will come with instructions, so you know, you can follow those instructions. I am just going to go ahead and score this right now, because later on when we put the shutter in, you know, I want this to be folded already. And that'll also help me place these guys. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to put glue just to finish off the outside of the card. You can do this when everything's cut. I'm just kind of going step by step in this way. A brand new Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. Love it. When I got to the end of my last bottle, I was like, oh my gosh, because I hardly ever get to the end of any glue, and I've used up two of these already. So this is my third since I've been picking that up. Alright, so I am going to put that down. And I'm just eyeballing it, you know, where center might be, a little higher up here. And that'll help me place the second one. So once I hold this down and it's ready to go, I'll place the second one same up and down so it's even. Okay, and I'll be right back. So I'm going to put this card base to the side with a little weight on top just to keep that down, but they're pretty much down. So on this portion, let's get our pieces. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this for the topper piece, and then this one for the inlay, and this one for the circle, the aperture that we need to cut. So this is going to be my base piece, and then I'll need this for the topper piece that out of that beautiful paper. So I'm going to turn this over, and it fits here perfectly, so that's good. I'm going to get some tape on this already, just because I'm using the other end of this page. So you can get your card base and this shutter piece from one piece of paper, which is great. I'm placing all these things back in just for like the guideline of it. We don't have to do this right now, and actually you can even do this piece and then let that help you kind of center where you're going to be putting everything. Does that make sense? Go ahead and like cut your inlay piece with the little circle, and then once you have that piece cut, bring that piece over and let it guide where you're going to put your circle. But, you know, I did it this way, so this is what I'm going to do right now. Just placing all the pieces just to kind of help me see where the circle should be placed. Right about there. Be nice. So I'm going to tape this down, and I'm going to remove this. Because we are doing an inlay, both pieces need that circle cut. So I'm going to remove this little excess piece because I don't need it right now. And I'm going to run this piece through, and I'll be right back. So I have that piece cut with that little aperture. So cute. Love the little dots it leaves behind. Okay, so for this next piece, we'll take our other bits here. And like I said, we're going to run this piece through twice. I'm going to just eyeball this right now and recycle my little tape. Oh, sorry. A little louder than I thought it would be. Okay. And then we have our center circle that we need to cut also, so that you can see through this one, through that one, right, to the whatever you might be putting inside your aperture. And that's about good. I honestly don't think I need this much tape, but this whole piece will get cut out, so I'm just going to leave it that way. I'm going to run this piece through, and then we're going to take that piece and put it on this bottom side and run it through again too. But for now, this is how I'll do it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, so pretty. You can see it just popped out. So pretty. My goodness. Okay. Usually I just take everything away and then just run the die through on this side, so if that's what you want to do, if you want to, you know, well, actually I could have just turned it around, I guess. Remove this and just turn this around and hear the whole thing. I just, you know, if this shifts, I don't want to cut again, so I'm just going to run it through with this piece. And make sure everything that's in there, if there's any little papers in there, just pop them out. Just so you have a nice clean cut. Oh, so pretty. This time we have a very small area to tape to, but that's okay. Alright, I'm going to run this through, and I'll be right back. And on this piece, same as the outside, I'm just going to put some glue on there and attach it to this piece. Oh, this color's so pretty. So I'm going to clean it out and, you know, clean all these little areas out and glue it down right there. And I'll be back. Okay, so pretty. Now you can take that same circle and cut through both pieces of paper at the same time. It would work. It's just that the papers I used are very delicate, and the metallic paper, like if you were to do that, it's quite possible that this really digs into it or makes marks, so I did it separately. But, you know, depending on the papers you use, maybe you can get them both cut at the same time. So that's the outside of the card. Then we go to the inside. We're going to pop this on here. I'm going to go ahead and score these. Usually I don't give them a really good bone folding until I'm done with the card. That way I know it's just in the spot where it needs to be, you know. This is cut perfectly top and bottom, so that's really nice. You can see that right up to the top to the bottom. And then we have these guys. So, like I said, there's two different types of aperture. So they can go like this, or they can go like this. So I think for this one I'm going to use these guys. And so what I'm going to do is probably, let me see, those are there. I'm probably going to go ahead and glue this down and then pop these in behind it. And I like to use a wet glue, so this is going to be a little bit different. If you like to use a dry glue, you probably can get it done, and then you can realize, like, okay, yeah, that's the right spot pretty quick. For me, I'm going to have to wait for it to set up a little bit before I can really kind of play with it. So I'm just centering this here, just eyeballing left to right and up and down, right? And I'm going to hold that down, but as you can see, it's centered right here. There's about 3/4 of an inch, a little less than 3/4 of an inch on either side. I would say it's like 5/8. So I'm going to hold that down until it sets up before I go to do the shutter, and then we're just going to pop in a sentiment here and make a belly band. Okay guys, these colors, it's so pretty. I use one with the 2 colors, but you know, you can always matte the back of this part so you have 3 colors or whatever you want to do. It's lovely. Okay, so let me just show you real quickly. Again, if you were using this shutter, we would score here, and we would score here, and they would kind of hold on to these outer pieces here, outer areas, and it would go in and out like this, right? Actually, I like that diagonal look. Today we're using these guys. And if you want to bone fold this, go ahead. I was kind of thinking about, usually when I make a shutter, like, I don't really bone fold it till I'm all done. These are very delicate paper, so I probably will still use my fingers to fold it. I don't want to, like, scar them up in any way. So these basically need to go in like this. Now, you want them to crisscross over like this. It might be possible. Otherwise, you can just let them go one over the other like this. Okay? Depends on what you're wanting to do. But we're going to open this up. So this is the right side facing, and I'm going to place them in here. See how I like them to kind of crisscross over each other? I think that's a nice look. But again, you can just have one on top of the other one. You don't have to do that. And basically, I'm eyeballing this, kind of where is the center, where are we at, and basically just putting these guys here. Now, if you have a quick drying tape, you know, you're going to run some tape or some red liner tape on there, great. I'm using glue, and since I am using glue, what I'm going to do, I think, is just hold these down just so that they don't move when I go to do this. And I can see that this one maybe needs to be moved over a little bit more this way. That looks good. I'm just going to tape them so that they don't move when I put the glue, because what we're going to do is go like that, and then later when I open it up, these are going to get pulled away together. This is just a different way of doing it. So I'm going to glue this here, and glue this here, and I'm being kind of careful with the glue since the way I'm doing it, you know, I don't want that edge to, we need to keep the glue in the tabs, basically. And so I'm just going to hold that down. And since this glue it grabs pretty quickly, it dries pretty quickly, you know, I'll check it in like a minute just to make sure we're in the right spot, and then I'll let it set up from there. So that's how I'm doing this one, and I'll be right back. Okay, I put some little weights on either side, and I'm probably going to put this to the side because, you know, I've waited about 15 minutes, but again, it's a wet glue. I don't want it to tear, but I can kind of see that it's doing what I need. Like, it needs to hold on. When I open it, you know, it's going to pull open. Again, I did put that washi that's kind of holding it, but I just didn't want it to move, so I'm just going to remove this so that we can actually open our card now. But if you're using, again, like a red liner tape or a dry adhesive, you could just do that, push it down, and then open it up right away. But with a wet glue, you clearly don't want to pull it apart. Look! Love it! Oh my gosh. Yay! So gorgeous. Again, I want to let that sturdy up. I don't want to have an issue with my glue there. Okay, so we have a couple things. On the inside, now, we could have put our little circle down first, or whatever it is that you're going to pop in here, if you're going to do like little flowers and color them. I always do it second, which is odd, I know, because now I'm going to kind of finagle it back in there, but I just do it that way, and that's how I do it. So that's just my way. If you wanted to, before you put these things down, you know, we had this, you could have put your little circle and stuck it down and then pop these guys over. So I just did a little bit different. I think for the inside, I'm still going to do... No, you know what? For the inside, I'm going to do some inking, and on the outside, it's going to be all die cutting. So... we have Just For You, we have With Love. You know what? I think I'm going to use this guy. And I wanted to see how this works. If this will go inside of this. So what I'm going to do, this circle is just going to cut the circle. We're not going to get the dots. Obviously the dots are on the outside of that. So I'm still going to use that beautiful metallic on the outside with that inner circle, because I need it to be cut out. And I'm going to cut this one out from the coffee cream, and I'll be right back. So I'm going to tape that down, of course, run it through, and this one also, and I think it'll give just a slight scalloped edge to this guy. I'll be right back. Okay. So we have our little, so cute. Of course, you can keep those little letters and do something else with them, or run it through a different color and, you know, pop those letters in. I'm going to do a little paper piecing. So I'm going to clean that out, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue it onto this one. And like I said, it gave a slight little edge. How cute and dainty. Okay, I'm going to glue those together and I'll be right back. Okay, so we have that. We have this guy. Again, we're going to put a belly band, put that on a belly band. But for now, what I'm going to do is actually use one of the little diamond shapes. And then I'll probably just put like thanks in there, because Just For You, and then thanks on the inside, or however. Let me... And I have just a cream colored piece of cardstock here, just a scrap of card. A light cream color. Make it so that it's nice and squared up in that corner. And I think I'm going to use some pigment ink and put some embossing ink on that to make it pop. So I think I'm going to use this one. Up. And it's just some blush colored metallic pigment ink, so that should hold the embossing powder really well. Oh, so pretty. Okay, that's awesome. And I'll move this away. Yeah, I'll do this one also. I was thinking about just stamping this in a different color, but we can just pop it in here. I'm just putting it right in the center, I think. Don't want to mess that up. You can even choose a different color now and then emboss it together. But I'm going to go ahead and use the same color. Aw. So pretty. Okay, let's put this to the side. And I'm just going to grab a little coffee filter I've been using for ages, a little clear embossing powder. Okay, and then I'm just going to hit that with a heat tool to get that embossing set. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that diamond die and just tape that down and run it through. Okay, so we have that portion, and actually that's going to go on the inside, and since this, it just kind of frames it out, I can just pop that in there. Again, like I said, if you want to use a circular one, then you would probably want to lay that down before you put these guys. And that will be that on the inside. So pretty. I always recommend whatever you put on the inside here, it should be flat, because you know these things are going to crisscross over and it's quite possible they get stuck behind it, so you don't want to put too much thickness in there. So there we go. So pretty. And for my belly band, I'm just going to keep it simple. We have this. I'm going to stay with the same color theme, you know, the two colors I've been using. So I'm going to take that larger piece, go ahead and cut this out on the coffee cream color. And then I'm just going to put one like little layer in the front. And I'm going to use this just the way it's paired up with the little dots. And then that lace that kind of, I think it basically coordinates back to this. It looks like this, that center portion of it. But you can use whatever you like, of course. You can also decorate the back pieces, the pieces that go around the back of your belly band. That's what these smaller ones are for. But I'm going to keep that just like that. So I'm going to run this through that beautiful pink metallic, and I'll run this through the coffee cream, and I'll be right back. You guys, this set is just so pretty. I was just, when I went to cut this out, and just beautiful. Has very kind of vintage feel, you know, like, what am I thinking, like Regency era? I don't know, something like that. Pretty, like cinematography, like old cinematography. That's what it reminds me of. Okay. So I'm just going to glue this one down. Again, we can do both sides if you like. And I like to score things before doing all this other stuff, so I'm just going to finish cleaning that out. And just give it a score. And you see how that meets up in the back. So we have that. Alright. I'm going to glue this straight down, and I'll be right back. Okay. Beautiful. We have this. I'm going to pop this up with a little bit of dimensional adhesive, so I just have this kind of piece here that we're going to cover up. So I'm going to put it on here first just so I know that it's where I need it to be. Then we'll bring this guy over. Oh my gosh. So pretty. Now I'm going to bring over my card, and that will give me kind of an idea of how much. They give you a good overlap, you know what I'm saying, a good area, so it's not like it's so tight. So this is already designed really well, even when I just glue it down. But I am going to go ahead and glue it down while it's on here, just so I can have a good idea. About there. Okay, and I'm doing it kind of loosely. I'm not really like trying to keep it tight one side to the other. We'll let that set up, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so here we have our card with that beautiful belly band that, again, just without any fuss, just works, you know. You don't have to like really judge it or anything. Just works. We have that just for you. I just went with that 2 colors colorway. Love that. And when your recipient opens it up, oh, I had it upside down. Okay. Now when your recipient opens it up, yeah, thanks. So pretty. Again, I mean, if you want to decorate the inside panels, however, whatever that you want to do, I mean, there's so many options. The die set is gorgeous. I love all the different inlays. I mean, it really adds all the intricacies so quickly that you guys know and we've come to expect from Tonic with their Verso dies. I mean, this is just a real knockout. I think that's designed in a very smart way, and you guys know I've tried different shutters, and this is really smart. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll have the links in the description box. Thank you so much, Tonic, for sending these items for review, for sponsoring this video. And I'll have some images for you guys. I'll have the links there, and I'll see you guys at the next one. There we go. Alright, bye now.